Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today, we have an interesting case to cover involving a sovereign citizen who's actually active duty military and his Karen sovereign citizen wife who makes a bad situation so much worse. Now before we begin, I'd like to say that as a veteran, I find it highly alarming that the sovereign citizen ideology has made its way into our military, especially since every active duty military personnel takes an oath to protect the United States Constitution and not some domestic terrorist interpretation of the Constitution. And at the end of the video today, we're going to be covering a few of his fantastically frivolous filings. So let's begin.
Record in Johnson, that is case number 2024 TO 22, State of Kansas versus Danny Johnson, County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state. Mr. Johnson appearing in person and pro se. Your name tag on your uniform says Johnson, so I presume you are Mr. Johnson. Now, sir, if you could get right in front of that microphone, thank you.
Can you hear me?
I can. Sir,
Yes.
you're charged in count one with speeding 82 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. That is a traffic infraction. It is not a charge that carries any jail time. It has a scheduled fine. 82 and a 65 is $87, but then there's also 108 court costs. In count two, you're accused of operating your motor vehicle without proof of insurance. Now, if you had insurance but just couldn't find it, you can get the proof to the county attorney and she'll probably dismiss that charge. If in fact it had lapsed or something was happening so that you didn't have insurance on the vehicle at the time being January 4th, 2024, that is a B misdemeanor. The maximum penalties as far as jail time would be 6 months, although probation is usually granted. There is a mandatory minimum fine the court must impose of $300, but it could be as high as $1,000. You do have the right to hire any attorney of your choice. If you cannot afford an attorney, you can apply and see if you qualify for court appointed. You can waive your right to counsel and represent yourself. Another option, you might be able to apply for diversion. That is where you apply, and if the county attorney approves you for diversion, you would pay agreed upon fines, costs, get your insurance current, and pay a diversion fee, and she'd dismiss the charges and keep them off your record. If you want to talk about diversion or anything else with your attorney, you certainly will have the opportunity to do that. Your pleas, you have a choice of pleas. You can plead not guilty and we can set this for trial at a later date. You can plead guilty, admitting the charge, and we would proceed with sentencing. Or you could plead no contest, which is neither admitting nor denying the charges, but you'd still most likely be found guilty and we'd proceed to sentencing. If you want to look into diversion, we'll enter a not guilty plea to give you time to do that. You can always change your plea, but once you're convicted, pre-trial diversion is off the table. So
probably not eligible for diversion based on his driving record.
oh, okay. Well, do you want to talk to an attorney then and discuss whether or not you have a defense? Or?
No, Your Honor, I would like to request a declaratory judgment due to there is no agreement for my performance under any agreement or commission of this court.
And are you under some kind of impression that we, as the American people, care whether you agree to the laws or not? You see, once you leave the privacy of your home and enter into the public domain, you are bound to the same social contract that the rest of us are, whether you agree or not.
Well, I don't need an agreement from you, sir. So if I were...
Well, Your Honor, I simply do not understand the nature and cause of the accusation with regard to the jurisdiction of the venue and nature of this action until the prosecutor properly alleges them there. I cannot enter a plea to the charge until I have the opportunity to raise a meaningful defense on my behalf.
All right, I will then, since you cannot enter a plea today, I will enter a not guilty plea for you and give you
I
time.
object, Your Honor. I object to you entering a plea to me because I must understand the nature and cause of these accusations. So I do not agree to you entering a plea on my behalf.
Well, your position is taken and I'm still going to do it. I will note your objection for the record, but I'm going to enter a not guilty plea.
Well,
Now,
I object to you entering
your
a plea
objection
on my
is
behalf.
noted. Your objection is noted, and if the time comes, you can appeal that to the Court of Appeals. Now, on the issue
Well,
of
who is,
attorney,
Your Honor, I would like to ask, who bring these charges against me? I should have the right to
all
question.
right, we're not going to have this debate right now. I've told you your charges. I've told you the state of Kansas has filed those through its attorney, Jill Gillette. Now,
Well, I would like to
okay,
call
I'm
the
going
state to the, I would like to call the state to the stand, Your Honor.
We're
The
not doing that,
state bringing
sir.
charges against me, who's it, how did I injure the state?
All right, this is your first appearance. I advise you of your rights. I advise you of your charges and possible.
Your Honor,
penalties.
I object to the proceeding, for I do not know the nature and cause of the
I'm
proceeding.
entering a not guilty plea. Missy, when is?
I object to you entering I object to you entering a plea on my behalf. I do not grant you that right.
Missy?
The court date,
You're supposed to act as a trustee.
Sir, you need to stop. You're being in contempt of court. You need to stop or I'll have the officer assist you in stopping.
They have a literary word for this type of situation. It's called foreshadowing.
Missy?
Well, Your Honor, I would like to also bring to you
September
according to
27th.
USC 12203.
Deputy Miles.
And also
did you,
Article 3, the judge must operate in good faith and good behavior. So therefore, if you're making a threat towards me, then
Deputy,
that's
if he's going to
urging
keep
me to
being
perform in your
contentious, I'm going to
court.
have you take him into custody on contempt.
Then that would be illegal search and seizures, Your Honor.
Wouldn't you need to go back?
It will.
All right,
It's
Missy.
false
I
imprisonment.
want you to stop talking or you can go upstairs to the county jail. Now, do you want to go to jail tonight?
Your Honor, again, Title
Deputy
40,
Miles, could you come in and assist the defendant?
September 27th at 9 o'clock will be the court date.
September 27th, you said 9 o'clock?
Yes.
9 a.m. You must be back here, sir, in person at the courthouse, or you will be arrested for failure to come to court. Now, that deputy there is going to take you into custody if you cannot control yourself through the remainder of this hearing.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just enforcing my right, Your Honor.
All right, so your first right is to have a hearing date, and that is September 27th, 9 a.m. The second
Your Honor, I
right,
also have a right to understand the nature of this. I have a right to understand the
all
nature
right.
of the cause.
If you don't want to listen to me, you can go to jail.
Is that your order, Judge?
Do you want to hire an attorney or apply for court appointed?
No, I do not. I don't need to hire an attorney, Your Honor.
You want to represent yourself?
I don't need to hire an attorney. I would like for you as the judge, Your Honor, to explain to me the nature and cause of the.
All right, I'm not going to appoint an attorney if you don't want me to. If you want, you said you don't want to hire an attorney. If you want to apply for court appointed, the officers have forms there that you can fill out. If
I
you
just
don't
want to
fill them
understand the
out,
nature
I'm
and
going-
cause.
If you don't want to fill one out, I'm going to assume you don't want an attorney. And then if you come to court September 27th at 9 a.m., you're going to be representing yourself if you don't hire or apply for court appointed. And so you've got the third issue. Does he have a bond? Looks like you do because you failed to appear February 27th at your first appearance. So bench warrant was issued, bond was set at $1,000 cash for professional surety. Looks like that was posted. Looks like you made a cash bond of $1,000. Does that sound right? You put up 1,000 cash back in July 12th?
I'm still trying to understand the nature and cause of this allegation, Your Honor.
I will continue your bond unless you get yourself hauled into jail on contempt before you leave.
What befuddles my brain is that Judge Webster gives him every opportunity to leave, but to him, it's all just a game. And the game ain't over until he wins with a dismissal or he loses with jail time. What do you think is about to happen?
I will continue your bond with the condition that you reappear here in person at September 27th at 9 a.m. So you've got your court date, you've got your bond, and we've talked about your lawyer. Now, you're wearing a U.S. Army uniform with the name Johnson on it. Are you in or have you been in the United States military?
Your Honor, I'm still trying to understand the nature and cause of the allegation, Your Honor.
All right. If you can leave the courthouse now without any further disruption, I will let you do so. But I'm going to have those officers escort you to make sure you do so. So, Ms. Gillette, anything further?
Your Honor, it is your oath to explain the nature and cause of the allegation against me. Are you failing to do that?
All right, you can either walk out the front door with the officers, or you can walk upstairs to the county jail with the officers. The choice is yours. Either leave.
Your Honor, I'm trying to understand.
Or leave disruptively.
I'm not being disruptive. I'm just trying to understand the nature and cause of the charge.
All right, officers, I'm gonna close.
What am I doing? I'm sitting here trying to understand the charge.
If he gives any more grief.
All I'm asking is to understand the charges. This is for the record. You said it's for the record, so I'm trying to understand what am I being charged?
The charges. Goodbye, sir.
I just want to understand the nature and cause of the charges, Your Honor. That's all I ask. It is your oath to give that.
If you tell me what kind of questions you have, I'll be happy to answer them, but I've already told you.
Okay, under what jurisdiction is these charges being brought to me under?
All the
State of
jurisdictions.
Kansas is charging
All
you
of them.
82 and a 65 and operating in a motor vehicle without liability insurance on January 4th, 2024 in Greenwood County, Kansas. You failed to appear for your first appearance and a bench warrant was issued and you were arrested and you made a bond of 1,000 cash or surety, posting a cash bond. Now you have to go to court and you have to answer those charges. You can
Your Honor, I
have
know.
a trial if you like, and the burden will be on the state of Kansas to either prove or disprove. If they can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, you're let go.
Well, I'm still trying to understand what jurisdiction am I being charged under, Your Honor? That's all I'm trying to understand.
You're being
All the
charged under the
All of
jurisdiction of the state of Kansas under its criminal law.
But according to the Constitution, there are only two
All right,
jurisdictions.
we'll have that on a later date. We'll be at recess, officers. Please escort him one way or the other, depending on his behavior.
But I'm still not understanding what you're charging me with.
Well, you'd have to start by uneating 50 years worth of Elmer's glue and then going to college and law school. Maybe then you'd be able to understand the nature of the charges being brought against you, but the Constitution only grants you the right to be informed of the nature of the charges, and Judge Webster just informed you.
Goodbye. We are adjourned.
But if she's the judge, I'm supposed to have clear and concise of what I'm being charged with.
The judge just said, if you give us any problems with it.
I'm not giving y'all a problem. I'm trying to.
So you have to put you in handcuffs and
Well, I'm waiting on this, Your Honor, to explain.
All right, Missy.
But that's it.
That's our last case on the docket, isn't it?
This is not good.
Yes.
All right. All right. Ms. Gillette, I'll see you at 3:30 docket.
Your Honor, can I please go home? Your Honor, can I please go home? I'll leave.
All right. Well,
Can I go home?
Yeah, sure, you can go home. If by home you mean the Greenwood County Jail in Kansas. Now, if you really wanted to go back to your actual home with your idiot wife, then you would have shut your mouth at any one of the many times that Judge Webster told you to. Speaking of your cave Karen, let's watch her needlessly earn some jail time too.
all right, I'm looking for a Johnson. Do I have a Johnson?
Yes, you do. I am here.
Danny?
Can you hear me?
Yes, but you're not the Johnson I was looking for, but I will take your case up. I have a couple. I have a Danny Johnson, and well, don't I have her on here? Oh, she's Stasha Carter. Do you go by Johnson also?
Okay, so I'm here for Danny Johnson.
Oh, are you the attorney?
I'm a representative for him.
What does that
And
mean?
that means I'm his wife. And we sent
Okay, are you an
documentation.
attorney?
I'm attorney in fact.
You're not an attorney at law?
No.
Okay. So when you
So
say
so
you're an
Mr.
attorney, in fact, you're not an attorney, but you're here on his behalf as a citizen. Is that
No, I'm
right?
not a citizen. I'm not a citizen.
Why
But
are you-
let me state for the record, Mr. Johnson is under doctor's care. He's in recovery. We sent the documentation over to the courts to show that, to show proof of that. We also reserve our rights to any and all reproduction of or distributing of videos on social media platform.
Well, this is awkward.
And we request the matter to be rescheduled at a later time when he can get through his recovery period.
All right, Mr. Johnson failed to appear at his first appearance, February 27, 2024. August 13th, 2024, he appeared. We took formal first appearance. He entered a not guilty plea. Actually, he objected, I think, to just about everything that we did. He was argumentative, disrespectful, interfered with court proceedings. I believe he
I
was
object, Your Honor. I think he was
stop,
just he
stop.
was.
You don't have any standing here today, Miss Carter, because you're not his lawyer. You're not him.
I'm not Miss Carter. I'm not Miss Carter.
Then why does your screen say Sasha Carter?
That's what it says, but I'm not Miss Carter, and it says
Who are
Sasha.
you? Who are you? Before I disconnect you from these proceedings, because you don't have standing to be here. What's your name?
Well, again, Mr. Johnson is under
Do
doctor's care.
you want to
Mr.
tell me
Johnson is
your
here.
name?
He's here. I've already gave you my name, ma'am. I'm his
Well, then
wife.
say it
I'm
again,
Miss
because I
Johnson.
must have missed it. What's your
Miss
name?
Johnson. Miss Johnson.
What's your first name?
Nicole.
How do you spell that, please?
Nicole.
Nicole Johnson. And you said you're his wife. Is that
That's correct. That's
You're
correct.
his legal wife. Okay. Now, if you'll let me continue, and if you won't, then we'll have to remove you from the proceedings. On August 13th, 2024, he became, as I said, argumentative, disrespectful, and interfered with the court proceedings. I found him in contempt. He was arrested and he was to serve 24 hours in jail. And then, as I recall, the military put a hold on him, and because of whatever reasons, he served more than 24 hours. But he was told to be back here September 27th. And on September 27th, there was an issue that he either was or was not receiving medical service. And he wanted a continuance, and we ultimately continued it to today. Now, that's been a month ago. And you say he's still under doctor's care and can't be here today, or is that, what were you trying to explain there?
What I was expressing, ma'am, is that he was in surgery on the day of the court date. He had
30 days
actual
ago,
surgery.
he was in surgery. Okay.
Correct. The doctor put him under doctor's orders to stay on bed rest. And that's where he's currently residing at, on bed rest. And we sent in the documentation to the courts and the doctor the doctor notified the courts that he's not to appear because he can't travel and he can't fly due to his surgery.
And we've made it clear to him that he can appear by Zoom. So I'm
Well,
going
ma'am,
to issue a bench warrant, bond
hold on one
forfeiture.
second. Hold on one second, ma'am, because he is here. He can hear you, but
Well, then put him
I
on
just
here.
oh he's on here, but he's in a recovery bed, ma'am, and it's a violation of his rights, his HIPAA rights to be shown and be broadcasted all across social media as far as
Bench warrant, bond forfeiture, no bond, hold.
Ms. Western.
There he is, and all it took was the threat of a bench warrant to make him magically healthy enough to answer the judge's call.
Oh, now do you want to be on here, sir?
Well, I'm
you
first of all,
under duress.
Are you
Under
voluntarily appearing, Mr. Johnson?
No, under duress.
I'm not.
Okay, I'm not duressing you at all. You don't have to be here.
Can I speak, please? I just want to let you know I'm on a series of medication that alter my. I'm on a medication that I'm supposed to be on bed rest from my procedures
Paint thinner is not a medication.
for the next 8 weeks and for the following 8 weeks, and then I'm supposed to start my recovery. But I have reached out to the courts. I have had the hospital reach out to the courts in reference to my procedure and my process. I have requested a continuation. I have also sent in letters to request evidence from the case to continue the case prior to these procedures that I have not got a response back. So
Certified mail.
I sent it out registered mail that the courts received, I think on the 23rd, in requesting evidence of the case to continue prior to my surgery, but having the surgeon
It's an unforeseen circumstance.
Ma'am, I want you out of the case now. You're not his lawyer. He's talking, he's representing
Ma'am, the
himself.
creator,
You're out.
the creator made me his wife, and
I will find you in contempt of court.
ma'am.
Stop talking, Miss Johnson.
Okay.
Now, both of you stop for just a moment. Miss Gillette, you haven't had a chance to say anything on this. Do you wish to be heard?
Because you're acting like the attorney.
I'm acting like the court, and you owe me $50, ma'am, for contempt. And if you have another outburst, it's going to go up, and it will be enforced. $50 direct contempt by Nicole Johnson for her interruption of the proceedings. Ms. Gillette, do you wish to be heard?
Good luck with that.
Ms. Gillette?
Sorry, I was making notes, Your Honor. In this matter, there have been lots of issues with Mr. Johnson. There is a letter here. I don't know if it came directly to my office or through the court. It's through the court because it was filed in the court file of
All right,
his.
so when you say through the court, you mean it went to the clerk?
It went to the clerk
Okay.
and was file stamped. There
And
is
it may or may not have made its way to my office, but if it has, I haven't seen it. For the record, go ahead, please.
there is a note from September 25th, 24. His other hearing would have been the 27th. Asking he be excused. We've had lots of issues with Mr. Johnson in the past. I am taking into consideration that he has provided a doctor's note and information about
Okay.
that
But
visit.
that was the last hearing. What do you have, if anything, for today from the doctor?
That was received. It was file stamped 9/27. I don't know if he's recovering or not. I can't tell you anything about that. So if he is on medication, Judge, I don't want to have anything substantive unless he's not taking pain meds. So I would move it over to November for him to be here, present, and he needs to understand that attorneys can speak for individuals, but not family members unless there's some
You not
sort
be,
of.
you won't be released in November, ma'am.
Ma'am.
So-
$100 fine or for contempt against Miss Johnson.
You know what they say, soft hearts who show up to court together get charged with contempt together, and she's only just getting started.
Okay, now, Mr. Carter, you may speak. Yes, sir. Now, if you're
Ma'am, do you even know who you're talking to, ma'am? Because you calling all these names. Which name, who are you speaking to?
you told me your name was Nicole Johnson. I'm
Correct. So you calling Carter, and I expressed to you that nobody's here is Carter.
well, don't have to put Carter on your screen if you're not Carter.
Ma'am, we made the point to be here in court today, ma'am.
You
And that's under the
talking.
unforeseen circumstance. He's still
All
here.
right, I'm going to end this talk. This court is over. Bench warrant. If you don't stop and get out of it. If you don't want this bench warrant, you be out of this conversation and let me communicate with the defendant.
Ma'am,
obviously, Mr. Carter doesn't have any control over you.
Anything.
Okay, Mr. Carter, I'm going to have to end this court because the woman won't shut up. And I'm going to have to leave a bench warrant. If you can get her to shut up and stay out of the conversation, you and I, sir, can have a hearing. Now, okay, how much time do you need this continued, Mr. Carter?
The doctor can send over the information.
I would request.
Mr. Johnson, I'm sorry, Missy, can you get that?
Hey, I'm trying to explain to you. The doctor told me it's going to be 3 to 6 months for my recovery.
3 to 6 months for your recovery.
I had a T10, T11 procedure. So it's a middle back procedure. Like I said, I haven't even started physical therapy yet.
Do you have an attorney, or would you be willing to take a court-appointed attorney?
As far as the attorney, all I would coming to do is, because I'm on medication, I don't want the court hold anything against me that I may say due to the type of medication I'm on. And two is the fact that I am requesting a continuation. I know y'all saying I've been whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm requesting a continuation at least to December, late December or January.
All right, we're going to set this over for trial. It'll be for bench trial. And what the doctor told you, you'd be in recovery for how long?
I'll be 3 to 6 months for recovery.
So this is October, November, December, January. All right, January 31st will be your bench trial. Now, did I understand that someone did receive something from his doctor today or recently? Ms. Gillette, you were talking about something from a month ago.
What time?
Yes, it was filed September 27th. It said he had surgery.
Yeah, we continued that hearing based on that letter. We continued it to today. But has anybody seen anything more recently?
No.
I think the wife was reading something that said he couldn't travel, but I don't think it said anything about appearing by Zoom. I think it just said he couldn't travel or appear in that fashion. But that's what we need to make sure come January, that the doctor understands this can all be done by Zoom. And again, Mr. Johnson, would you consider appointment of an attorney to represent you?
Not at this moment, Your Honor. Like I said, I'm on medication.
Well, an attorney could sure help you navigate through this court system. I understand you wanted to represent yourself, but the attorney could sure help you.
I don't need an attorney at this moment.
All right, we'll document that for the record, Ms. Gillette, in the journal entry, that he still does not want an attorney, that we are continuing this again at the defendant's request for medical reasons to January 31st, 11 a.m. Now that's going to be for bench trial, so keep that in mind. The state will have their witnesses ready, and if you have any witnesses, you'll need to have them ready. Hopefully, you won't be under medications January 31st or in any situation that's going to affect that. But Um, I won't issue the bench warrant. Nicole Johnson does owe me $100, or she owes the court $100. I'm gonna give her 10 days to pay that. If she doesn't pay it, then she's gonna face more contempt. That payment needs to be paid, Ms. Johnson, to the clerk of the district court. And that is in Eureka, Kansas, at 311 North Main. And make sure you put on there contempt for case number GW 2024 TR22. That's, and put on there that it's for payment for direct contempt of Nicole Johnson for continued, well, you won't have to put on there other than for contempt. But I do want the rest of it put in the journal entry, Miss Gillette.
Well, if somebody tries to defend themselves, it's contempt. Exercise their rights, it's contempt.
Ma'am, you don't have any rights in this hearing today.
I do. I'm not a citizen, ma'am.
Oh, really? You're not a citizen, huh? Well, somebody needs to call ICE because we have some illegal aliens that need to be deported back to their nation, a little place called Imagination.
I don't care what you consider yourself. You do not have any right to come into any court of law and start interrupting and delaying the procedures and
Well,
absolutely deliberately and intentionally disobeying what the court instructs you.
ma'am, I called the county attorney yesterday. I called the clerk
I
yesterday.
am going to
expressed to
tell
them.
you to stop talking one more time before I
I
will.
know because you don't want me to express my rights.
This
My
is
rights.
not your hearing. This is not about you. I really
Well,
hate
you're
to
making
have
it
to
about
send
me,
the
ma'am.
sheriff to
You're
whatever
making it about
state
me.
you're
You have
in.
not,
Well,
you have not given no lawful consideration to this matter,
Mr.
ma'am. He's
Johnson,
under doctor's care. He has provided all the documentation to show that he's under the doctor's care, ma'am, and you have not given no consideration to that.
you are so fortunate that
Gillette.
you're not here in person, or you'd be locked up right now.
Yeah, I am
And
fortunate.
Mr. will be locked up if
God
he
gives
is
me
not
that. My
here
creator
in
gives me that.
person. Mr. Johnson is ordered to appear in person for bench trial, January 31st, 11 a.m. Ms.
Yeah,
Carter,
because you want to retaliate against
Okay.
him, don't you?
Ms. Carter now owes $200 in fines, and I'm disconnecting this call so I don't have to send the Greenwood County Sheriff to whatever
Yeah.
state she's in to get her picked up and locked up for contempt. This
Ha,
hearing
ha, ha.
is adjourned.
Ma'am, every time
Missy-
somebody expresses their lawful rights to defend themselves, you hold them in contempt. Why is that? You are a judge. You are compelled to provide protection for we the people. You acting as an attorney, giving advice to people, bringing people down, and he's in a situation to where he's under doctor's orders. It's a shame that you still wanted him to present himself under the doctor's orders of bed rest and medication before the court.
Put the camera on yourself
so
when
you
you
can
talk to me,
extort
Ms.
them,
Carter
and you
or
can
Ms.
spread it out
Johnson.
across social media, and you can talk down on them, and you can make money off of it because you go and you spread it, and then you get up all these
Hey,
views.
put
and
the
then
camera
people
on yourself
think-
if you want to
think-
tell me off, Ms. Johnson.
I can put the camera where I want to. That's my legal
All
right,
right.
ma'am.
You are to appear, I will send the orders for you to appear personally because you're going to serve some time for this disrespect. Ms. Johnson.
It's disrespect with what you having him do
Missy,
on camera under the
disconnect her.
circumstance.
This court hearing is adjourned.
Yeah, disconnect yourself because you're unlawful.
Damn, that Karen's gonna learn the hard way that being a Zoom warrior in court has actual consequences and is gonna cost her ass some real jail time. Now we move on to our last hearing, which took place about a week ago and was supposed to be in person. However, he had to call in, but this time he had a pretty good reason.
All right, let's take up Danny Lewis Johnson will be on the record in 2024 TR22 and 2024 TR541. Paul E. Dean for the state. Danny Johnson, are you present?
He is not present, Your Honor, and I have a note.
I think he's on the phone.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Now that I think about it, Missy, you said he is in
I got an
Because-
custody.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think so. I got an email from somebody at Leavenworth.
Yes, he is being held by, currently held for a court martial and is not going to be released until the court martial is completed. Therefore, at this point in time, Your Honor, I would ask that we issue bench warrants in both of the cases that are before this court with Danny Johnson, authorizing no bond.
He was ordered to be present in the courthouse today.
I am here.
He is here on the phone.
Well, that's on the phone, is not in person at the courthouse, and he is in custody. So I need to issue warrants to keep holds on him. Mr. Johnson, is that you that I'm speaking to?
Yes, I was in the midst, got cleared by the doctor to come back, and when I came back, they apprehended me and said I was a deserter because I waited till the doctor to release me to come back. I was prepared to come there.
Sir, I'd recommend you not to be making statements in regards to a pending criminal court martial.
Well, I'm not worried about that.
Yes, we know you aren't worried about it. That's like the main reason why this is so entertaining.
But at the end of the day, like I said,
Well, hold on, please, sir. Okay. So, Mr. Johnson, you and your wife at the last hearing asked that this matter be set for bench trial today, and we are set for bench trial. But then I've also seen you have filed motions for jury trials. I've seen that you've filed a motion to recuse me as the judge, and I show that your wife has filed a motion against me with the judge's disciplinary board. So
I can't answer for what she did or what someone else did, but in reference to myself, I did file those motions, and I also prepared to be at court. Unfortunately for me, like when the doctor cleared me to come back, I came back, and then they said I was a deserter. So all right. Well, I'm not going to get into your military court. I'm not asking you. I'm just giving you the reason why I'm not there. And I appreciate that. But from the beginning of these proceedings, you've insisted you did not want an attorney. I think I've even tried to strongly encourage you to consider an attorney, but are you still of the position that you do not want an attorney, that you want to proceed on your own behalf? Well, Your Honor, it's as if I asked you previous also. If you just tell me what the fine is previous, I would have paid the fine. You insist that I come to court because normally if there's a traffic violation, then there's a fine attached to that. I was willing to pay the That my recollection is the last time you and I spoke, at first, your wife called in for you and said you couldn't travel and you couldn't take a plane to get back to Kansas because of your back injury. And we continued this for a period of time. And then the last time, I found out you were lying there beside her in bed, and you said what you did, that you couldn't fly or travel. And so I said, well, do you want to proceed? And you said you were under too much pain pills and you couldn't, that you didn't know what you were doing. And I don't
so
mean
no,
to
you.
interrupt you, but I was speaking as August 13th when I came to court in August 13th. You had me on video, and matter of fact, I was actually being confined in Springwood County, and I asked for a fine.
Well, the bottom line, I'm not gonna go back over your case either. But you, the reason we didn't take any pleas last hearing, there were several reasons, but one of which was you said you didn't know what you were doing because you were on pain pills and had been apparently for a couple of months. So, all right. In any event, you're set for bench trial, and you're not here today, and you're going to be in custody. Do you have any idea how long?
No, I do not. That's why I was asking if there's a fine attached to the offense. Can I just pay the fine and move on from it? Because I'm
We have misdemeanors involved. My officers are here. I'd renew my motion to issue a bench warrant since he's not here and ready to proceed. We can't even see him, let alone have our officers identify him. Therefore, he's not in that manner ready to proceed. I have two officers here, Cordell and Andrews, who are have been patiently waiting. Not that the delay today has been his fault in regards to the earlier docket, but he's not here. He's not ready to proceed. I'd ask for a bench warrant, no bond hold.
All right, Your Honor, I can proceed on the phone.
Well, no, I can't.
Right now.
I can't, sir, I can't for the very reasons that counsel just said. I don't even know for a fact I'm talking to Danny Johnson. So, all right, at this point, I am issuing the bond forfeiture, the bench warrant, and a no bond hold. So when you get through with whatever you're going through with the military and the court martial, then we can make arrangements to get you and bring you back here and take care of the motions you filed.
Your Honor, I guess because I was thinking the $1,000 bond that I paid, that could go towards the fines.
And your bond money going towards your fine might have been fine if you would have honored your bond conditions by showing back up to court and not breaking any new laws that might land you in Leavenworth prison for court-martial. But unfortunately, you didn't respect those conditions, therefore invalidating the contract you had with the county and forfeiture of your monetary bond. Not to mention, your charges carry a possibility of jail time, so just offering to pay the fine isn't even a possibility.
All right, Mr.
If you do a forfeiture, then I lose $1,000. Is my intent to be in court?
Well, if you want to get an attorney, you can hire an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, you can apply for court-ordered or court-appointed attorney. But until then, bond forfeiture, bench warrant, no bond hold, and we're going to be in recess on both your cases today. So thank you, sir. We'll be in recess.
Alright, so that's the end of the court hearings, but not the end of the video, because I have a few documents I'd like to go over with you, which are motions filed by the Neanderthal between all these hearings that we just watched. So on screen, I'm going to have each document up while I point out the especially stupid parts. Feel free to pause the video if you want to read the documents in their entirety. The first document is pretty tame compared to some of the other ones, and is a simple request for records. There's not much to note until you get to his actual requests, which include the certified oaths of office for Judge Phyllis Webster and the police officers to include their bond numbers. Because of course, these fictitious bond numbers make all the difference. Now the second motion is a motion to dismiss. And this was by far my favorite motion to read, and it really exemplifies the education level of your average sovereign citizen. It starts out with an interesting spelling of the word prejudice, and then follows with this grammatical vomit. When I specially visit you virtual court on a forced response, I think you meant when you specially visited your virtual court. I know words are hard, but you demanded to represent yourself, so get it right. It continues. I move this court to take judicial notice that my special visitation was forced, that my visitation was special and not general, and that this notice is my specific objection to the presumption upon which a false conclusion of law has been made administratively with regard to my status before this court. Yeah, no one's made any conclusion of law yet. In fact, we're 3 months out from the filing of this motion, and there still is yet to be a final disposition on your case because you failed to show up to court. He then goes on to make the common sovereign citizen claims such as no injured party, no jurisdiction, and of course, he incorrectly cites Supreme Court rulings such as Marbury versus Madison. He then goes on to make the claim that insurance is not required per the U.S. Constitutional. He cites violations of federal civil rules of procedure, even though this is a state case and Kansas has its own set of rules of procedure. Also, he refers to himself in many different forms. But my favorite three are when he refers to himself as Danny Lewis Johnson Estate, as Johnson-Lewis:*Danny, and finally as Danny: Family of Johnson. I'm not gonna lie, but this shit never gets old to me. Like I said, it's a good read, but now let's head to his third motion, which is a strange one, as it is a motion for a jury trial that reads as a motion for recusal of Judge Webster. It states, the defendant asserts that a fair and impartial trial cannot be obtained under the current circumstances and prejudicial conduct by Judge Webster. He specifically alleges that she defamed him by repeatedly calling him a sovereign citizen. He believes that just because she's calling it as she sees it, she has created an unacceptable risk of partiality. And I would say to that, if you don't want to be called a sovereign citizen, then stop being a sovereign citizen. He then goes on to abandon those claims by requesting a jury trial and nothing else. These people really need to take the free lawyer. Regardless, I'm sure his filings were put in the super important bin and a janitor will get to it later. Until then, him and his dick-fluting wife can enjoy their separate vacations at the Maury Lockup Resort. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. My next video will be part 2 of the Karen who tried to sue me and lost. So if you haven't already seen parts 0 and 1, there will be a pop-up at the end of this video. But for now, if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike. But don't forget to leave a comment below and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss any of my content. I'm Team Skeptic, and I'm out.